Tim Volta is in, but what will his Hull City first lineup look like? We'll go through that in today's video. Well, hello there, and welcome back to the HullCityFanCentral YouTube channel, where today we'll be looking at what will the starting 11 look like in Tim Volta's first game as Hull City manager. He's in the doors, but what will the team look like? It seems like a summer, not a full rebuild in case, but certainly some changes to be made. So let's crack through the team. We'll be going for the 4-3-3 format that we know that Tim likes to play through his time over in the German divisions. So, goalkeeper. Now, we're kind of a toss-up between two goalkeepers. I doubt Hull City to be going out onto the market looking for a new goalkeeper. Adrian has already expressed the fact that he was displeased that Ivor Panda wasn't involved in Hull City last season. So, the starting goalkeeper, I think, will be Ivor Panda. Yes! I think that he will get majority of the game time this season. Maybe the cup games he'll miss out on. But other than that, I think he'll be playing majority of the game time for Hull City. I think that this will be his real shining moment if he does perform. Of course, there is the chance that he doesn't perform in the English setup, and then we do switch it back to Ryan Alsop, or maybe even the likes of a Timothy Lotutala or a Harvey Cartwright could get a look in at some point this season. It's a really toss and turn one, but I do think that in the first game, there will be a Panda in net. Then the back four lineup, I think it will be the same back four lineup we had last season. Of course, one of them will be a new permanent signing, and that being Ryan Giles. I do think that Hull City will try their hardest to get the permanent signature of Ryan Giles. Adrian's already expressed how impressed he was with Giles last season, wishing he played more games. Of course, the factor of Matty Jacob and his sort of rise really dictated that. But I think Matty Jacob might go out on loan this next season to get a bit more game time, a bit more experience that he won't get in the City squad. And I think that Ryan Giles really complements that Tim Volta style of play. I think it really complements how he likes to use his defensive line to help with that push onto the aggressive side in his attack through the 4-3-3 format that we talked about. And I think that Giles really complements that. The centre-back partnership, I think, works even better under Volta ball than it did under Rosinia ball, and that being Greaves and Alfie Jones. Jacob Greaves, I think, will thrive under Tim Volta. I think he's going to have one of the best seasons that he could have ever dreamed on. That's, of course, if he stays at Hull City. Seems like he will do. He wants to stay here, I think, unless, of course, that big money move to a Premier League club does come in for him. Of course, the window has not opened yet, so do not know the full extent on that, but it does seem that Jacob Greaves will certainly be here for another season at least. And hopefully he will, because I think that this will be his best season as a player, especially under Tim Volta, in this Volta ball. And it seems that through sort of watching a bit of match footage and looking at a bit of analytics and stuff, his left centre-back likes to push a bit forwards. He likes to get that left centre-back up the field. What does Jacob Greaves do? He goes on them Perlo-esque runs. So really going to thrive under that. And of course, Alfie Jones, I think, will have another brilliant season. Right back situation. Of course, there's been a few names thrown about at right back. And I don't really see too many of them coming into the squad at the moment. Of course, this can all change through rumours and stuff throughout the summer. But I do think that Louis Coyle will get that starting spot at right back. Of course, at the moment, he is the club captain. That can change, of course, when Tim officially fully takes over with the squad. But it does seem that Louis Coyle, certainly for the start of the season at the moment, will have that job at right back. Which moves on to the midfield three, where you would have seen Regan Slater playing quite a few games at right back, especially towards the back end of the season last season. But I think that he will get his spot back in the midfield. I do think it will be a midfield three of Regan Slater, Jean-Michel Seri, and then one more man being Ozan Tufan. Of course, you've got Seri there as that sort of that rock, that defensive pair. There can patch him up with Regan Slater. Regan Slater can put in quite a good defensive shift there. Can also be quite that pivot mover to get the ball transitioning through into the attack. And then Tufan, it's Tufan. He probably will have another standout season for him. It's Ozan Tufan. You got to love the man. Then a front three. I do think the front three won't be too dissimilar from what we saw last season. Of course, we've got Jane and Philogene on the left. If he stays, sounds like the same situation with Jacob Greaves at the moment. Out on the right, Abdushamir. Of course, you can make an argument for Omer being in the middle. Who would you put on that right wing? We don't really know as of yet. And then up top, leading the charge, Liam Delap. City do seem to be pushing in heavily on this Delap transfer for the permanent side. Man City want to get rid of him. 10 million is the appropriate asking price, apparently. And of course, we will see how many clubs come begging his way after having a nice season at City on loan. Of course, being injured for half the season has sort of neglected some of the price on him. I think that he maybe could have gone for the £15 million range if he did have that full season at City. And who knows, Hull City might be in the Premier League if he did. Of course, we haven't really talked too much about who could possibly be coming into City. Of course, we do have quite a few names that we've discussed on the channel, and then a few that we haven't discussed yet. Of course, Oscar Estupiñán, he's getting rumoured to have his loan terminated over in the Brazilian league, so he could be returning back to City and really making an impact, especially if we don't get the Liam Delap deal over the line, or if Delap gets injured or something. I think Oscar Estupiñán will work well in the Tim Walter style of play. Of course, there is the rumours that I talked about last week or the week beforehand being Norwood, McConnell and Reynolds. Reynolds, of course, rumoured once again. Norwood, I think that he would work okay-ish as sort of that. It's a free transfer. Have him there to sort of take the load off in that midfield. Not as a starting player, of course, coming off the bench, I think. But it would be a nice sort of relief player coming into the 70th minute mark. He goes in there, maybe he takes a load off Sellery, maybe he takes a load off Slater. Can depend on the game, really. And of course, McConnell, fantastic youth player over at Liverpool. And if that deal does come off, he will probably work his way into the starting lineup, similar to the fact how Tyler Morton did very quickly last season. So, we'll wait and see on that one. I think that this summer will really dictate how Tim Walter will start off his season. I think that the foundation that he's got here is good for his style of play. He'll get in the door, he'll work with them very nicely, and I don't think it's too much of an adaptation from what they've been used to playing last season. Of course, there's a lot more of a key focus on that aggressive attacking style, which I think will take a little bit of getting used to. So be prepared for a pre-season or a first few games of the season where Hull City may be leaking quite a few more goals than what they will do further on in the season. But the attacking style of football is what we got promised, and it seems like that's what we're going to get, especially with the lineup that I've talked about today and many more additions to be added over the summer. So, if you do want to keep up to date on all of them summer transfers and all of the goodness around Hull City moving into the summer as we break into a new season where Tim Walter could see us into the Premier League, make sure that you like and subscribe so you can keep up to date on everything Hull City, and I will catch you over in the next video. Up the Tigers!